First up from the Beatles Premium set, this one is immediately striking. The black and white artwork on the card is based on the Beatles' 1963 album, With the Beatles. That dramatic, half-lit portrait style became one of the most iconic images in music history, shot by photographer Robert Freeman in a session that lasted less than an hour. The shadows, the contrast, it was bold, minimalist, and completely different from the flashy covers at the time. And here's a wild fact. With the Beatles sat at #1 on the UK charts for 21 straight weeks, and it was only knocked off the top spot by their own next album. That's how dominant they were. It almost makes this feel more like a collectible piece of album art than just a die-cast car. The quick delivery casting works perfectly here because those flat side panels really let the artwork breathe. And the chrome reel riders against that deep black body, they absolutely pop. Now with premiums like this, condition is everything. Soft corners, edge wear, cracked blisters, that stuff matters big time to collectors. Thankfully, this one is in great shape. The card is crisp, the blister's intact. Honestly, just a little surface dust from storage, nothing major. Next up is the custom GMC panel van from the Beatles Premium set featuring the Help artwork. The card art is based on the Beatles' 1965 album Help, released at the height of Beatlemania and tied directly to their second feature film of the same name. On the original album cover, the band members are posing with their arms raised in semaphore-style positions. But here's the funny part. They don't actually spell help. The photographer arranged their arms for visual balance instead of accuracy, and the design just stuck. Help debuted at #1 in both the UK and the US, and the title track became one of their most recognizable songs worldwide. It also marked a turning point lyrically. Paul later said the song Help was one of the first times John openly expressed vulnerability in his writing, which adds a whole different layer when you look back at it. That bold blue artwork translates perfectly onto this casting. I love the blue bumper guard on the front, the Beatles figures on the side, and the clean fade from blue to white on the metal base. The wheel choice feels period correct for a vintage panel van like this. This casting represents a real machine with history. Panel vans like this were everywhere in the 1960s, which makes it a perfect canvas for Beatles-era graphics. And again, for a 2016 premium release, the condition is flawless. There's just a little dust on the blister, no soft corners, no edge wear. This is a beautiful example of premium die-cast done right. Next up is the Yellow Submarine Deco delivery, and this one immediately stands out. The multicolored card art absolutely screams late 1960s psychedelic Beatles style. It's loud, it's playful, and it instantly grabs your attention. This artwork is inspired by Yellow Submarine, released in 1966 on the Revolver album, and later turned into the centerpiece of the Beatles animated film in 1968. That film pushed their imagery into full psychedelic territory and became a defining visual moment of the era. Yellow Submarine is one of the band's most recognizable songs worldwide. It's simple, it's catchy, and it became almost like a cultural anthem of the 60s. The Deco delivery casting works perfectly here. Those smooth curves and oversized side panels give the artwork room to breathe. The psychedelic band graphics pop against the bright yellow body, and the matching yellow wheels tie everything together beautifully. This casting represents a real machine with history. Vintage delivery vans like this were rolling billboards in the 1960s, making it the perfect canvas for bold pop art like this. And again, for a 2016 premium release, the condition is excellent. There's just a little surface dust on the blister, but the card is crisp and the plastic is clean. Honestly, this might be my favorite from the Beatles set so far. The whole thing feels less like a toy and more like a miniature piece of psychedelic art. Next up is the Volkswagen T1 panel bus, and this one features some seriously iconic Beatles artwork. The card art is based on the cover of the Beatles' 1969 album Abbey Road, showing the band walking across that now legendary London crosswalk outside Abbey Road studios. That photo became one of the most recognizable album covers in music history. It was shot in just a matter of minutes while police briefly held traffic, and decades later, people are still recreating that exact walk. And here's a cool detail. Abbey Road was actually the final album the Beatles recorded together, even though it wasn't the last one released. So this image really captures the end of an era. Seeing that artwork wrapped onto this Volkswagen panel bus just works perfectly. The gray body looks fantastic. The VW logo up front pops nicely, and the crosswalk scene printed on the side is sharp and clean. The chrome wheels add just enough shine while still keeping that vintage vibe. The Volkswagen Type 2 bus became a symbol of 1960s culture, freedom, and counterculture, which makes pairing it with Abbey Road feel incredibly fitting. And once again, the condition here is excellent for a 2016 premium release. Crisp card, strong blister, just a touch of dust from storage. Honestly, this might be my favorite from the Beatles set so far. I know I keep saying that, but they really do keep getting better. The car, the card art, and the cultural impact all come together beautifully on this one. Next up is the Combat Medic casting, featuring the Beatles' Revolver artwork. And this one immediately feels more artistic and a little more serious. That hand-drawn, sketch-style album art looks incredible on this casting, especially against the off-white body. The high-contrast black line work really pops, and you can actually make out a surprising amount of detail at this scale. The black roof gives it a strong visual anchor up top, and the chrome wheels add just enough shine without distracting from the artwork. It's subtle, but it balances the whole piece really well. Revolver was released in 1966 and is widely considered one of the Beatles' most innovative and influential albums. This was the point where they stopped touring and fully committed to experimenting in the studio. It includes legendary tracks like Eleanor Rigby, Yellow Submarine, and Tomorrow Never Knows. Alright, so for this entire Beatles Premium lot, I paid $93.18. Considering the condition, the artwork, and the nostalgia factor, I honestly think that's a solid pickup. These 2016 Beatles Premiums are only getting harder to find in clean shape, especially without soft corners or damaged blisters. And getting the full lineup together like this, that just hits different. Let me know down in the comments, did I overpay or did I snag a deal? Either way, I'm really happy to add these to the collection. And we're not done yet. The final lot in this haul might be the most nostalgic of them all.